Support for this podcast comes from the St. Alphonsus Neuroscience Institute, offering technology to provide treatment for neurological, neurosurgical, and neurointerventional conditions. This includes a dedicated neurotrauma ICU for critical care of the brain or spine and a 24/7 stroke team. More at stalphonsus.org.
The West is in a snow drought, mountain areas delayed opening, and limited ski runs. But nonprofit recreation area Bogus Basin has a secret weapon against the warming conditions.
I talked to the snowmakers and I was like, just start making snow up there. And we picked a spot. We called it Project X. We just made a giant pile of snow.
I'm Jamie Geary. How Bogus Basin opened with snow stored last season. Listen on BoiseStatePublicRadio.org.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's daily news. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. Very interesting election bill surfaced yesterday at the Statehouse. An effort to get rid of the voter affidavit form. We'll tell you about that. Plus, trouble is a-brewing at the Blaine County Coroner's office. It is Thursday, the 29th of January. Here we go with today's stories. Last week, we first told you of a new Idaho public policy survey that revealed 60% of respondents would support a ballot measure that restores reproductive rights in Idaho. In fact, voters in several states across our region may weigh in on abortion rights this fall amid what are expected to be heavily contested midterms. Hannah Mersbach reports.
Many Wyoming Republicans want to see a vote on an amendment that could somehow restrict abortion or give rights to life in the womb. It could be a last resort for the lawmakers since state courts blocked their legislative efforts. In the last public vote in 1994, Wyomingites shot down an abortion ban 60-40. Here's UC Davis law professor Mary Ziegler.
Even though there's a strong conservative Christian community, there's also a strong libertarian streak in the Republican Party that complicates the politics of this.
The same could be true in Idaho, where abortion's already banned. Advocates there are trying to get enough signatures to put reproductive freedoms on the ballot. Nevada voters could also recognize a fundamental right to abortion. A state majority supported this in 2024, but they need to support it a second time to change the Constitution. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Hannah Mersbach.
At the Capitol Wednesday afternoon, an effort to strip Idaho cities from having their own anti-discrimination laws. The bill was crafted by the Idaho Family Policy Center, which says Idaho communities have been, quote, overrun by radical gender ideology. The sponsor yesterday was GOP House Representative Bruce Skog.
Who does this affect? It's one county, Ada County, and it's the following cities: Bellevue, Boise, Coeur d'Alene, Driggs, Haley, Idaho Falls, Ketchum, Lewiston, Meridian, Moscow, Pocatello, and that hotbed of liberalism, Victor.
But Democratic Representative Steve Birch of Boise says the proposal was an overreach.
I just find that this legislation is just irreconcilable with the principle that government is best when it's closest to the people. Different communities are different, and this basically is saying that a majority of 105 legislators get to decide how every community needs to govern over its citizens.
Late yesterday, the Idaho Family Policy Center cheered the introduction of the measure. Meanwhile, the House Local Government Committee agreed to give the bill a full public hearing. Idaho voters who forget their photo ID at home may no longer be able to cast a ballot on Election Day under a new bill. The proposal from Republican Senator Brian Lenny would eliminate the state's voter affidavit form. Right now, previously registered voters can sign an affidavit swearing to their identity. Lying on the form is a felony, but Lenny argues that the affidavit does not make for secure elections.
You can't go to a bar and without an ID and sign a piece of paper saying, I swear I'm 21 and get served drinks. You know, you can't get through TSA without an ID.
Only a fraction of a percent of voters use affidavits during a given election. Nearly everyone uses a state-issued photo ID to prove their identity. And Secretary of State Phil McGrain has previously opposed getting rid of affidavits at the polls, though our request for a comment was not immediately returned. Lenny's bill still needs approval during a public hearing before it could reach the full Senate floor. After months, some would say years, of controversy swirling around the Blaine County Coroner's office, change is coming. Russ Michael is Blaine County's longest-serving elected official. He has owned and operated the Wood River Chapel since the 1980s, and indeed he is the Blaine County Coroner. Earlier this month, we brought you a detailed report where the Blaine County prosecutor, the county sheriff, and local police chiefs shared what they said were troubling concerns with Blaine County commissioners.
I had to constantly check my own emotions and differentiate between Russ, the mortician, and Russ, the elected coroner.
It's a situation where it's some of the most serious kind of crimes that the prosecutor's office faces that we may just be left without the evidence we need.
In my 3 years at Haley Police, never once did I observe the elected coroner taking a single photograph of the body or the scene.
And we talked to Michael on this broadcast. Can I assume that you look forward to having an opportunity to talk to the county commissioners about all of this?
So far, they haven't. They did ask me to meet with them, but I also had commitments that I can't avoid. So maybe we can get a schedule that we can agree on.
And now we understand the coroner will come before Blaine County commissioners at their meeting next Tuesday. And the Mountain Express is reporting that county commissioners may fast-track a plan to create an independent coroner's office for Blaine County. And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. Say, I'm going to be on Idaho Matters today. And you know, well, maybe you don't, but you can guess that I'm going to be talking a lot about movies and television shows, about the Oscars and the Grammys and so much more. And boy, do I have some great clips to share with you. That's on Idaho Matters. As for The Connector, I'll be back on Friday. I hope you will too. For now, thanks for listening.
Looking for another podcast to listen to? Check out The Nature of Idaho from our partner station KISU in Eastern Idaho. Join hosts Peter Pruitt and Dr. Leif Tapanilla as they share fascinating stories from the Gem State's great outdoors, celebrating Idaho's wildlife, landscape, and natural wonders. That's The Nature of Idaho from KISU. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.